All right, so this is going to be part 2 of my video series of fun things you can do when you don't have any friends. Now, there are going to be things on this list and the one prior. You can totally do those with friends or other people, but a lot of these you can do solo, at least in my personal opinion. And I came up with more ideas, which is why I'm doing a second video. And a lot of you were kind enough to put your thoughts and your stories and your suggestions out there in that first video, and also in the one where I talk about how I'm 54 and I have no friends. As a matter of fact, I think there's over 4,000 comments on that video. Way too many for me to go through and read every single one of them. It would take me hours and days, probably weeks, to get through that at this point. So don't feel that I'm ignoring you. I'm not. I thought I could go through. I thought I'd get a small response to that video and answer everybody and at least read all of the messages. And it just has completely blown up. So I'm really grateful for that. And just want everyone to know that all over this world, people younger than me, people in my age range, the Gen Xers, people older than me, men and women. It doesn't matter if you're from the United States or Canada or Switzerland or New Zealand, Australia. It doesn't matter. I've been getting comments from people all over the world and sharing their stories and their thoughts on all of this stuff. And I'm really, really appreciative of that. So people sending out positive thoughts to other people that are struggling. You guys, thank you. That's awesome. And those video comments, if I can find them, I will respond to those as well, just to let people know that, yes, you might be alone, but you're not alone. And my thoughts go out to you. So let's get this party started. So this second list, of course, is just random things, no particular order. Writing and poetry. So if you're interested in writing, whether that's writing short stories, long stories, novels, or even just poetry, I like to write poetry. And I used to write that a lot more when I was younger. And I still have a little file folder of poetry I wrote when I was in high school. So it's kind of interesting to go back and look at what my thoughts were at the time, especially as being, a teenager, versus what my thoughts are now. And I do like to write as well. I have a couple of books that I started and just haven't finished them. And that's just a personal thing where, life gets in the way and it's hard to be a writer. I don't know how people do it. It takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of just being able to sit there and to just, constantly write or set aside time to write. So it's something that I'm working towards because I do want to at least finish one of those books. So writing and poetry, that sort of thing. Fishing, of course, you can go fishing if you enjoy fishing. You can even go hunting if you enjoy hunting. That's entirely up to you. I used to fish a lot when I was younger, and of course, since I got a motorcycle, that's my preferred way of going out and having fun. I don't really spend time on a boat or off a boat and fish anymore. But that's, of course, something that a person can do by themselves or with other people. So again, by yourself. That's the purpose of these videos. You can go hiking or camping. So if you're comfortable with doing that in the area you're in, or you have the means to do so, definitely take up hiking or camping. I'm not obviously a big hiker in this area. I used to do that in North Carolina. Out here, not so much. That might be something I'll look into when the weather cools off. Camping, of course, is always a lot of fun, whether you have a camper or a tent. Just not something that interests me, but it obviously interests a lot of other people because it was one of the suggestions that came up in my part 1 video. Travel. Now, I love to travel. I haven't done a lot of it recently, but I am going to get back into that. And of course, I do want to go to Europe, certain countries in Europe where I guess it's more calm, I guess, is what I'd say about that. So like Portugal or Spain, maybe even Italy, but I've heard lots of good things about people going to Portugal, excuse me. And there's lots of people that actually live in those countries that are from the United States and maybe even Australia or Canada. And if anybody has ideas for other places to travel, I would like to go to, there's a few places in Mexico I would like to see. I would like to go to Uruguay to visit Montevideo. And I would also like to possibly visit Thailand and Malaysia. just to expand my horizons, because I want my life, now that I have woken up to what I need to do with my life, I want to have more experiences versus just having things, right? So travel, of course. Now, when you're a single traveler, these companies, even if they offer solo travel, their prices tend to be higher, or other companies will have a single traveler supplement, which I think is kind of, crazy, but that's whatever they do. So if there's anybody out there that's interested in traveling, and if you have the means to do so, meaning you've got money saved up, I've got a slush fund saved up for some travel, and you want to discuss this and maybe set up a trip and travel somewhere together, let me know. And in my About Me tab in my YouTube channel, you can scroll down to the bottom and you can click on the contact me, and my email address is there. So please feel free to send me an email. But let's get some conversations going in the comments down below, because maybe other people would like to meet up with other people. Maybe we can get a travel group going of, a handful of people, and we can actually get a nice little guided tour somewhere that offers that sort of thing. And those are actually really, really, really good deals. I think that would be like totally kick ass. So maybe we can shoot for that. Let's see, concerts and plays, right? I like to go to concerts, whether that be the symphony, whether it be going to see the opera, whether it be going to see a country band at the local fair, or rock concerts. Of course, those are my favorite. I do those things by myself all the time, and I have never once not had a good time. There's been times when I've been with other people where I've had a crappy time, but never by myself, okay? Always had a good time when I'm by myself. Going to plays, right? Or the theater, if you have an actor's theater in your town. There's one in the town next to me, and they've got an upcoming play in August that I'm definitely going to get a ticket for and go check out. It's a Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Hound of the Baskervilles. So I'm excited about that because I love Sherlock Holmes almost as much as I like Agatha Christie. So I'm going to go check that out. Racing, whether that's oval track, dirt track racing, or drag racing, if you're into that. If you haven't and you like cars, go check it out if you have something in your area. Now, my drag track that I go to that's the closest to me is down by Bonne Terre. It's like an hour and a half from here. It's a wonderful drag track. They are very well organized, and they even have a good food stand there. They have nice bathrooms, and they're clean. So that's always important. It's a little too hot for me right now, but when it's not too bad, I love to go on a Saturday, and I can go there at like noon or 1 o'clock whenever they start, pay 10, 15 bucks to get in. And you can literally stay there until 8 or 9 at night when they're done. I don't usually stay that long, but I usually stay for about 5 hours, and I usually have a blast and end up chit-chatting with people that are sitting up in the stands. And it's just, I love to be around cars and all of that action. Culture, expanding your culture in your life by going to museums or maybe art galleries. We have a really cool train and vintage car, mostly trains, but some vintage cars museum up in St. Louis. I did go to see that last November, and spent probably, I don't know, 3.5 hours there, and I just loved it. And I love any of that old vintage nostalgia. I just have this love affair with trains, vintage planes, automobiles. I don't know why, I just do. The trains thing, I think it comes from my grandpa. He worked for the railroad, and so did his dad. So again, museums, and then of course art museums too, or art galleries. If you have that stuff nearby or someplace you can go and check that out. It's always fun to go do that by yourself, because you can take as much time as you want, and you can do what you want, not have to feel rushed by being with other people. Bird watching, if you're into bird watching, you can of course go out and watch birds in your area, or even in your backyard. I have lots of birds that come into my yard because I do live out in the country, and I have acreage, and I have lots of trees. And I do have a pair of binoculars. I picked them up at a vintage shop a few years ago. I think they were like $10, and they work great. Photography, if you're into photography, I've always liked taking pictures, and I do take pictures with my cell phone. If I'm out and about, I'll take pictures with my cell phone. But I also have what I'm filming on. It's a Sony ZV-1. I got it used on Amazon to film videos with, and to also take some better pictures with. I haven't taken it out and done that yet, but I'm definitely planning on doing that this fall, taking some longer road trips, and I'm going to actually take my camera with me and not just take pictures with my cell phone. So photography is always fun. And then, of course, crafts and jewelry making. And a lot of people commented on this in my first video about jewelry making, and some people actually make jewelry, which I think is fantastic. You're very talented. That's not in my my talent spectrum. Maybe it is. I don't know. I've never tried it. But it does sound like a lot of fun. And you could probably make some money off of that too if you wanted to sell your jewelry designs. So that's always something fun to do. Any kind of crafting, I don't care what it is, right? You can make those plant holders out of macrame that I remember my mom had those in the 70s. I thought they were the ugliest thing ever. Well, guess what I have out on my sun porch with a fern in it? I have a macrame plant holder. So kind of funny how that stuff comes full circle, right? Thrifting or antiquing. If you're into that, I love to go thrifting and to go to my local caring center thrift store that is connected with the senior center. So I think that's a good thing. I also like the Salvation Army. Goodwill I go to, just not as much. And then, of course, antiquing or going to vintage shops. And I don't always buy things, obviously. I just love to go to a big antique vintage mall and just get kind of lost in there, tooling around, looking at old books or looking for that one elusive record I might have on my list of albums I would like to get. Anything, just, go out and have some fun. Learning an instrument. A lot of people talked about that in both of those other videos, and that's a great idea. I used to play clarinet when I was in high school, and then, of course, once I was done with high school, I just never really kept on with it. But I would like to learn how to play guitar. I would love to learn how to play piano, but I don't want to have a piano in my house. I did have one at one point in time, and then, of course, I had to pay somebody to take it out of my house before I moved, and that meant that cost me more money. But again, learning an instrument, anything under the sun, right? Whether it be clarinet, saxophone, the drums, guitar, piano, flute, trumpet, whatever. Learning a new language, I think, is great, especially those of us that live in the English-speaking countries where English is our first language. If you do want to travel, or if you just want to keep your mind sharp, that's very important. Or if you plan on traveling someplace else, look at what their main language is and then try to learn some of that. So I do use my phone for the Duolingo app. It's just a free app, and I am learning Spanish right now and find that it's actually quite a lot of fun. But if I go to someplace like Spain, it would be very useful to be able to connect with the locals and immerse yourself in their culture by actually knowing some of their language and not just expecting everybody to speak English, because that's not how it rolls. I know we get kind of stuck in our own bubbles in our own countries, and that's not just this country, the United States. I think that's wherever you go. You might feel that way. I think the European people are more well-versed and open to different things because there's so many different languages in all of Europe, and it's easy to travel between those because they're very compact versus our big country or like Canada or Australia. So I think they have just more awareness of that. So that's something that I'm working on as well, because I do want to do some international travel. And then, of course, other things you can do by yourself, depending on where you live and what you have for facilities, whether it's indoor or outdoor. Ice skating, oh man, I love ice skating. Roller skating. Now, we don't have ice skating around here. It doesn't get cold enough in the wintertime, so obviously there will not be any outdoor rinks. There is no indoor rinks. I think there is an indoor roller skating rink in the next town over that I might check out. I am probably thinking in St. Louis there's an indoor ice arena. I'll have to see if there is, because if there is, I might just go up there on a weekend for a couple of hours and go ice skating, because I love it. And it's really fun when it's like 95 degrees outside and you go into an ice arena. Oh, it's so refreshing. And then, of course, bicycling. So that all goes back to the part 1 video about exercising, just to keep your body active and to do things. So it can be any number of things. These are all activities, but they're also activities people might not think of. Yeah, could you go bowling? You could go bowling too. Although bowling by yourself isn't as fun. And the reason for that is it gets actually pretty exhausting if you're the only one bowling and you're having to bowl, right? Every frame, and there's no break because you're bowling with 1, 2, or 3 other people or whatever. So that also doesn't end up lasting as long if you're bowling by yourself. But can you go do it by yourself? Of course you can go do it by yourself. There's lots of things you can go do by yourself. You can go hang gliding, you can go rock climbing, you can go parasailing, you can go jump out of an airplane. There's so many different things that we can do by ourselves as individuals, and you can also do those things in groups. And so, you know, me for myself, where I live, I might, you know, just have to go and look at more things up in Jefferson City or in St. Louis if I want to get more involved in those types of things. You can go rafting down the river if you're into that. That's totally not my cup of tea, but if that's something you like to do, lots of people around here do it because we have those rivers and they can go floating and stuff like that. So just some more ideas to throw out there for everybody. And if you have even more suggestions that I missed in the first video and this video, please put them down in the comment section below. And I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to read through all the comments, but you know, on that other video, my part 1 video, there's also a lot of comments. So it's just so hard to go through and read every single one in there, let alone respond to them. But just know that I hear you. I may not see you in that sense, but I'm thinking about you because you've responded and you've commented and you've shared your story, and for that I'm truly grateful. So don't forget to like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click that notification bell so you know when I'm putting out new videos. Typically it'll be once a week, and usually on a Sunday afternoon my new videos will drop onto YouTube. And let's have good conversations with each other in the comments. I always welcome suggestions, what you would like to see for more video content. I have a whole list of things that I want to do for upcoming videos. And if you've got something else and it's not on that list and I think it'll be cool, I will add it to that list as well. So everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. We'll talk soon. Bye.